I used to believe that trust was the strongest foundation of a marriage. Now I know it's also the easiest thing to destroy. My name is Ethan Carter. I'm 36 years old, and until one cold October evening, I thought I had the perfect life. My wife Olivia and I had been married for 11 years. We didn't have children yet. We wanted to wait until our business became stable. We owned a small interior design company together in Denver, Colorado. It wasn't $1 million company, but it paid the bills, gave us a comfortable life, and more importantly, gave us something to build together. At least, that's what I believed. Everyone who knew us thought we were the perfect couple. Neighbors admired us. Friends envied us. Even our parents often said we were proof that true love still existed. Looking back now, I realized something. The happiest marriages usually look perfect only from the outside, behind closed doors. Sometimes they're already falling apart. It started with tiny changes. Changes so small I ignored them. Olivia suddenly cared much more about her appearance. New dresses, designer perfume, expensive heels, professional makeup. When I complimented her, she'd simply smile and say, "I just want to feel confident again." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? A husband should encourage his wife. Then came the late nights. She said clients wanted evening consultations. Sometimes she'd come home after midnight. She always smelled incredible. Too incredible. Not like someone who had spent 10 hours designing kitchens. Whenever I asked about work, her answers became shorter. Long meeting. Tough client. I'm exhausted. The conversation stopped there. I never pushed further. Trust doesn't ask for proof. At least, it shouldn't. One Saturday morning, I surprised her with breakfast. Pancakes, coffee, fresh flowers. Her favorite. She looked at the table for only a second before checking her phone. Then she smiled. Not at me. At whatever was on that screen. That smile lasted longer than the one she'd given me all week. I pretended not to notice. But something inside me did. Weeks passed. The distance between us grew. We still lived in the same house. We still slept in the same bed. But emotionally, we were miles apart. One night I reached for her hand while watching a movie. She gently pulled away. "I'm tired." 5 minutes later, she was laughing at messages on her phone. That hurt more than I wanted to admit. My best friend, Mason, noticed the change before I did. "You okay?" he asked one afternoon while helping me load furniture into a client's house. I forced a smile. "Everything's fine." He leaned against the truck. "No, it's not." I stayed silent. Then he said something I'll never forget. "When people stop looking at you the way they used to, it's usually because they're looking somewhere else." I laughed it off. I told him he watched too many crime documentaries. Deep down, his words stayed with me. 3 days later, I came home early. Olivia wasn't expecting me. The house was quiet. Her car was in the driveway. I walked upstairs. The bedroom door was slightly open. She stood in front of the mirror wearing a stunning black evening dress I'd never seen before. It still had the price tag hanging from the sleeve. She quickly removed it when she noticed me. "Oh, you scared me." "You look amazing," I said. She barely smiled. "Thanks." "What's the occasion?" "My friends are taking me out." "For what?" She hesitated. "Just girls' night." It sounded rehearsed. Almost memorized. I nodded. "Have fun." She kissed my cheek. Not my lips. Just my cheek. Then grabbed her purse. As she walked toward the front door, I noticed something strange. She wasn't wearing her wedding ring. I called after her. "You forgot your ring." Without even turning around, she answered. "I'll wear it tomorrow." Then she closed the door. I stood in complete silence. For the first time in 11 years. The house didn't feel like home. It felt empty. I tried convincing myself I was overthinking everything. Maybe she simply forgot. Maybe I was becoming insecure. Maybe. Funny how we tell ourselves comforting lies because the truth is too painful to consider. Around 8 o'clock that evening, I ordered pizza, turned on a football game, tried distracting myself. Nothing worked. Every few minutes, I looked at the clock. 9:30. No message. 10:15. Nothing. 11. Still nothing.
Send one simple text.
Hope you're having fun. Drive safe. She read it immediately. No reply. That hurt. At 11:42 p.m., her location disappeared from our shared family app. I frowned. That had never happened before. Maybe her phone died. Maybe she turned it off. Either way, it wasn't normal. I tried. Calling. Straight to voicemail. Something inside my chest tightened. At exactly 12:18 a.m., my phone rang. The screen showed a name I hadn't expected. Mason. The moment I answered, I knew something was terribly wrong. He wasn't speaking normally. He sounded terrified. Ethan, I need you to come downtown. Right now. I grabbed my keys. What happened? There was complete silence for nearly 5 seconds. Then he whispered, I can't explain this over the phone, but whatever you do, prepare yourself. I've never seen anything like this. The line went dead. My heart pounded as I raced through the empty streets toward downtown Denver. Red traffic lights blurred past. Questions flooded my mind. Was Olivia hurt? Had there been an accident? Why was Mason there? And why had his voice sounded like he'd just witnessed a nightmare? I had no idea that within the next 10 minutes, my entire marriage, every memory, every promise, was about to shatter. The drive downtown felt endless. My hands were shaking so badly I almost missed the turn into the parking garage Mason had texted me. As soon as I parked, I saw him. He wasn't alone. 2 police cars were parked near the entrance of an upscale hotel, their flashing lights reflecting off the glass walls. A small crowd had gathered outside, whispering among themselves. The moment Mason saw me, he rushed over. His face had lost all color. Ethan, he said quietly. I'm so sorry. I grabbed his shoulders. Where's Olivia? He looked down before answering. Inside. Without another word, I ran into the hotel lobby. The front desk employees were trying to calm several angry guests. An elevator door stood open. A police officer stopped me. Sir, this area is restricted. My wife is here. He looked at the paper in his hand. Your wife is Olivia Carter? I nodded. He stepped aside. Go ahead. The elevator ride lasted less than 30 seconds. It felt like 30 years. When the doors opened, the hallway was filled with hotel security. Room 814's door was wide open. I slowly walked toward it. Then, I heard Olivia crying. Not quietly. She was screaming. Inside the suite, everything looked like a battlefield. Broken wine glasses. Furniture overturned. Flowers scattered across the floor. A shattered television. Police officers were taking photographs. Standing in the middle of the room was Olivia. Her expensive black dress was torn. Mascara streamed down her face. Across from her stood a man in an expensive suit, handcuffed. I had never seen him before, but judging by the hatred in his eyes, he knew exactly who she was. Olivia looked at me. Ethan. She ran toward me. I stepped back. She froze. I can explain. I didn't answer. Instead, I looked at the stranger. One of the officers spoke. This man is Victor Reynolds. He owns Reynolds Investment Group. The name sounded familiar. A wealthy businessman. Successful. Respected. At least, that's what everyone thought. The officer continued. Your wife has been seeing Mr. Reynolds for several months. My chest tightened. Olivia immediately interrupted. That's not true. Victor laughed. A cold, cruel laugh. Oh, now you're denying it? He looked directly at me. She told me you were abusive. She said you refused to sign divorce papers. She claimed she was trapped. I stared at Olivia. She couldn't even look me in the eyes. Then Victor reached into his jacket pocket. He handed the officer his phone. Show him. The officer hesitated before giving me the phone. There were hundreds of messages. Photos. Videos. Voice notes. Vacation plans. Apartment searches. Conversations about taking half of my company during the divorce. Even worse, there were messages mocking me. One message read, "He's too trusting. He'll never see this coming." Another said, "Once I get the business, Ethan can keep the house. I don't care anymore. Every word felt like another knife in my chest. I finally understood why Mason had called me. Mason wasn't Victor's friend. He was Victor's financial consultant. Earlier that evening, Victor had proudly introduced Olivia to several business partners during a private dinner. Everything was going according to their plan, until the elevator doors opened again. A woman in her early 30s walked into the suite. She was elegant, confident, and wearing an engagement ring. Victor's face turned pale. She looked at him, then at Olivia. Finally, she whispered, "So this is the truth." She wasn't just any woman. She was Victor's fiancée. She had flown in a day early to surprise him. Instead, she found him with Olivia. The room exploded into chaos. Victor shouted. His fiancée threw the engagement ring onto the floor. Hotel security rushed in. Someone pushed a table over. A guest called the police. Within minutes, everything collapsed. Victor lost his fiancée, his engagement, his public reputation. And by morning, the scandal had spread across social media because several guests had recorded the entire argument. Olivia thought things couldn't get worse. She was wrong. 2 days later, Victor's company announced an internal investigation. It turned out, he had been secretly using company funds to pay for luxury trips, expensive gifts, and apartments where he met Olivia. The financial fraud had nothing to do with her, but her relationship exposed it. Within weeks, Victor was fired. Federal investigators opened a case. His luxury lifestyle disappeared overnight. Olivia returned home 3 days later. There were no designer handbags, no confidence, no smile, only tears. She fell to her knees. "Ethan, I made the biggest mistake of my life." I quietly looked at her. She reached for my hand. I stepped away. "I still owe you." I finally spoke. "No. You love the life I gave you. You never loved me." For the next hour, she begged. She cried. She apologized. She blamed loneliness. She blamed excitement. She blamed bad decisions. She blamed Victor. She blamed everyone, except herself. When she finished, I walked upstairs, opened the closet, packed her belongings into 3 suitcases, placed them beside the front door, then calmly handed her an envelope. Inside were divorce papers. I already spoke to my attorney. Her face turned white. "You already knew?" I nodded. The moment trust disappears, the marriage ends. The divorce lasted 6 months. Because Olivia had used company resources and hidden financial transactions, the court rejected many of her claims. Instead of receiving half of the business, she walked away with almost nothing. She had traded loyalty for luxury. In the end, she lost both. 1 year later, our company had doubled in size. I hired new employees, expanded into 2 more cities. For the first time in years, I genuinely smiled. Mason eventually became my business partner. Not because he pitied me, because he had stood beside me when my entire world collapsed. Real friends don't disappear during your darkest moments. They help you find the light. One rainy afternoon, I saw Olivia sitting alone outside a small cafe. She looked exhausted. The confidence she once carried was gone. She noticed me. Slowly, she stood. "Ethan, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry." I looked at her for a long moment. Then I smiled. Not with anger, not with revenge, with peace. "I forgave you a long time ago." Her eyes filled with hope. Then I finished my sentence. "But forgiveness doesn't mean I want you back." I turned around and walked away. That was the last time I ever saw her. People often think karma is lightning striking someone overnight. It isn't. Karma is waking up every morning knowing you destroyed the best thing that ever happened to you. It's watching the life you could have had belong to someone else. Olivia chased excitement. She lost stability. Victor chased deception. He lost his career. And I lost a wife. But I found something far more valuable. Self-respect. Sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't making the people who betrayed you suffer. It's refusing to let their betrayal define your future. Because karma always collects its debt and it never forgets who owes it.